What's
All right,
up, guys?
If anyone's interested in chatting cannabis and social media, head on over to the stage. We're about to get started.
We give it like 3 minutes.
My fellow stoners, I love this. I love this event because everyone is just so happy and nice compared to other places. People be in a bad mood looking at you all like, ugh.
Yeah, Madzilla, how many Hall of Flowers have you been to?
This is only my second Hall of Flowers.
Dope.
I think the last time I was here was like 2018 or something.
Okay. I think that was the first
And I don't
year,
really
yeah?
remember much of it because I was just so high and I was just floating around like, this is so awesome.
It's a
But I love
whole
it.
new world.
I feel like it expanded. I feel like when
It's
I was
huge.
here, it
It's
wasn't
huge.
as big.
This is the best
Does
Hall of
anybody-
Flowers yet, for sure.
I was going to say, does anyone know how many people are here today? I think that we're at like 7,000
I
people.
think there's 7,000 people here today, yeah.
7,000 people all here to celebrate culture, cannabis, and all things weed.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, guys, should we get started?
Yeah,
Sure.
might as well.
David, should we get
Are we good?
started? All right,
Cool.
cool.
Hey, y'all. My name is Marissa Twichell. I am a co-founder of Women of Cannabis, along with my partners who are sitting right here, Katie Furtado with Big Pete's Treats and Kaylee Morgan of Ember Valley. We just had a passion project, and we just really want to uplift women in the space. I help build brands big in like sales and marketing, Big Pete's Treats, Pacific Stone, a bunch of different brands. And I have the honor of chatting with Ben and Madzilla today. So I'm really stoked to get into
Hell yeah.
chatting about all things cannabis and social media.
That's what I'm here for.
Now, would you guys like me to intro you, or would you like to intro yourself?
We can do it.
I'll do a little
However,
intro for
Go
you,
ahead.
and then
Intro
you-
me, girl.
and
Let
then
me
why
know
don't
what
you-
you're going to say.
Yeah, and then you add on. Okay, so Madzilla is a model, artist, host, and cannabis enthusiast. She is known for her music videos, the Playroom podcast, and her popular Madzilla TV channel on YouTube.
Yes. Thank you. That was a good intro. Thank
Give
you.
her a follow.
Appreciate it.
Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just out here representing my new podcast, the Playroom Podcast. Check it out. It's lit as fuck, okay? I've been in the modeling for who knows how long. I kind of just started out just smoking weed, so they labeled me a cannabis model. But hey, it works, right? Now look at this. Everyone smokes. You get some weed. You get some weed. We all get weed.
We all get high. Shout out Kenji. What up, Kenji? Some of the best
Yeah.
weed in the game right there. And then we've got Ben, who's the homie. We've been friends
Ben.
for a hot minute now.
What's up?
Ben is the founder of Dumpling House Media, a creative studio for the cannabis industry, and he is the brains behind the trend-setting Weedfeed lifestyle brand. Combined, Dumpling House's media brands equate to millions plus followers with top shelf clients inside and outside the cannabis industry. And he's one of my personal faves in the game. So
Thank you. That was beautifully
stoked to
said.
share a stage
What's
with you
up,
today.
Ben?
Yeah, and thanks to all of you for coming out here and giving a shit. So, applaud
And
to you
please
guys.
follow Weedfeed.
Did you say thanks for giving a shit?
Yeah, thanks for giving a shit.
Thank you guys for giving a fuck, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, by the way, please don't leave our seats empty. It's kind of awkward. Come sit
Yeah,
down.
you guys come
Take a
fill
seat.
it in. Bring it in for the real
You got
thing.
us for 30 minutes. I don't want to sit and look at empty seats. It's awkward.
But no pressure, no pressure. I like the back
Oh, no,
seat
I'm
of
putting
the
the
bus.
pressure
It's
on.
fine.
He's like, no more pressure, please. We're too fucking high for this.
I'm like, I am pressure. All right, guys. So we're talking everything social media and cannabis today. And as we all know,
Thank you.
social media and cannabis don't really like blend too well together. The majority of us are shadow banned. I know you literally have to put my entire name in, and I'm private, so I don't even know how I'm shadow banned.
Same.
But let me ask you both. I'd love to get each of your answers on navigating social media restrictions, especially on Instagram. They've changed their policies and made them more strict. Ads are still getting through easier on Twitter, TikTok, and Google. How do you get around like the restrictions on Instagram and keep revenue coming in?
You want me to go, sir?
Yeah, of course.
Well, it's a tricky question. But what I've learned about Instagram, because, I've been posting weed for a long time, modeling. Luckily, my page has never got deleted. I am shadow banned, but I'm not deleting it, knock on wood. But I've just noticed and just learning over time that you got to be careful what you say in the captions. Instagram, like you can't put certain words now. So I don't really know all of them. So do your research on that. But I would just be careful what you say. And there's little ways to work around it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I really just smoke weed and started posting pictures and videos like smoking weed. And now I'm a cannabis model. So, but yeah.
And how many followers do you have?
Not enough. No, just kidding. Like 750,000 or
It's a
something
lot
like
of
that.
followers,
Yeah.
girl. It's a lot of followers.
Yeah, I've been smoking weed and, modeling for a long time. I was going to say shaking ass, but let me not get too ratchet right away, okay? No. We're just here to have a good time, okay? But I don't understand. I'll say one more thing. There's people that make pages, like weed pages, and they get deleted all the time. I just don't know. And even like models, sometimes their page will just get deleted all the time. So I don't really know. That's a good question. It's tricky. So I'm interested to see what Ben has to say about that.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, because how many followers does Weedfeed have?
I think Weedfeed has like 600 and something thousand followers. And I there's like a long-winded answer to that, so I'll try to give the New York version. For one, I think everyone's pretty familiar with some of like just the standard procedures of like what not to do. Madzilla mentioned watch out what you're throwing in the captions, and I definitely agree with that. The code words, as annoying as it might be, to see everyone talking about gardening, that shit works, at least for now, until the algorithm picks up on that and you can't garden anymore.
They picked up on that?
No, not yet, but
oh my
they
gosh,
will.
I was like, no.
They will.
Emojis work too.
Emojis.
When you put the little emojis instead of the word,
Are there any emojis that will get you flagged though, like right off the bat?
I don't think they've gotten that far yet.
Yeah, I don't have any historical data on that just yet. But I've seen other apps flag specific emojis, so it's not an impossible thing for a computer to figure out. But I would say first and foremost, when you get shadow banned or when your account gets taken down or something like that, the first step is fully algorithmic, and then you appeal it. And my theory, at the very least, is that then a human comes to take a look at the page.
That's true.
My thought is, if a human comes to look at the page, they're probably spending 0.2 seconds looking at your page. My theory is that they have a Tinder swipe that goes, fuck these guys, or all right, give them back the account. Because think about it, time is money. And so my thought is that if in that 0.2 second glance they see a page that looks, I don't know the right word to use, but I'm going to say suspect.
Looks cool as fuck, dude.
If it looks like a trapper, they're going to swipe left. And if it looks like something a little bit more polished and thoughtful, something that like someone who worked at Facebook left and started a weed brand would build, then they might be like, all right, this seems more legit. Let's swipe right for now. And so everything that I produce and post, I think about it through that lens. Like, would the person looking at this report say he might also sell guns, or this is an artist or an entrepreneur or something? And I'm not saying I agree with that mentality at all, but I'm just trying to get in the heads of the people who have our fate in their hands in these circumstances.
So hit you on Telegram?
Telegram. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure everyone here kind of knows how to get around the social media. I'm sure you guys have experienced.
I was going to say,
that.
let's talk to the audience. Like, how many of y'all just get DMs, tap in on Telegram?
Tap in on Telegram. Have any of you guys got your page deleted? Or like flags, all that? Oh, yeah. Hands up? Yeah. That shit sucks, huh?
You guys have all been deleted? Damn.
Another thing you could do is you could pay. You got to pay to play out here. So
can you?
Find
Can you
somebody
talk
that
about
got some money, or get some money, sell some more weed, and get your page back.
Wait, let's talk about that.
That's all there is to be said. I don't know what else to say about it. Just
I have a question for the audience. Is everyone, and I apologize if this is obvious for some people, but is everyone familiar with like this area in settings of Instagram where you can see if your account is suspended or not? Raise your hand if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You don't know, you're not sure.
Yeah, so you can go into account settings and actually see where you've been flagged.
Really? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I feel this is obvious to some people, obviously, but for the few that it could help, I'm just going to tell you real quick. On Instagram, you hit the 3 lines, the little hamburger, as they call it. You scroll all the way to the bottom where the help kind of section is, and there's something that's called account status, and you could see if your account is flagged and why, and it'll be like, these 3 posts infringed on our rules. And if you archive those posts and you give it 24 to 48 hours, you'll see that orange exclamation point turn green, meaning you're no longer shadow banned. So I know this update came out a couple of months ago, but if you didn't know it, this could be super helpful. So I thought I'd share.
It is nice too, because then you can kind of like curate what you're posting on your page to see, like, if you already know you've got 2 marks against you, probably don't play with it. Give it a good 90 days. Eventually it does fall off and you start over. So like it is a nice little tool to be able to like check your account status.
Yeah, well, that's a huge point, is that not only is that area a good place to see why your account is currently suspended, but you could see the posts that are getting you suspended. And
You
you
can
could
see
be
why.
like, okay, what did I do here that's different from other posts that weren't? Oh, I said Zaza, they're picking up on that now. Or I was smoking versus all my other posts just showed the joint. This one has smoke. And you could just use these kind of little details to extrapolate, you know, what it is they're catching and avoid doing that in the future.
That's such a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so go check out your account status, and then you can kind of see where you're at and see what you want to play with. Like, all right, let me sit down for 90 days, let that fall off, and then start being a little gangster renegade again and see what you get away with.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah,
So
please.
for you guys that have a brand and you have Instagram, let's say your Instagram gets deleted. A lot of people get discouraged and they're like, fuck, I worked so hard. You know, I had all these likes on here, all these reshares, whatever. Don't let that stop you. Make another one and don't just post a couple pictures. Like, you guys have to post. What I did, I posted one picture every single day for literally like 7 years straight. And that's what helped me like gain the following that I have, is just staying consistent. Like, people want to like feel like they are getting to know you. Whether you're a brand, post some personal things on your story. You know what I mean? Make sure people have something to look at, to like, to engage with. So I just wanted to say that, because there's a lot of pages that have like one picture and it's like nobody's gonna want to follow your page. You know what I mean? Like, they want to see different things. They want to see the face of the brand. Even if you're like a little shy, you're not really like the type of person to be in front of the camera. People do want to see that. Maybe put it in a little highlight reel. You know what I mean? Some behind the scenes stuff. Because the more personable you can be with people, the better your brand is going to do. So I'll just say that.
For sure. And I have another question for you guys. With like over 500,000 followers from each of you, do you guys have somebody dedicated to compliance on your social media? How does that work for you guys?
Compliant, like, does somebody like run it?
Kinda, yeah. Well, not even like does somebody run it for you, but is there someone on your team that kind of stays up to date on what the new compliance rules are? As we know, it's always changing on social media. Like Ben kind of mentioned, like Zaza could get triggered even though it didn't get triggered a month ago. Is there anyone kind of staying up to date on your team to like see what's going on?
I guess like
currently?
There's 2 sides of compliance. There's like Meta's rules, and then there's like state rules. And so I think, me personally, just being in the world of Instagram and just knowing when the algorithm updates, because I see it, because I post so much content, or just like I have a bunch of friends that are in the space, so they'll be like, yo, did you hear this works now, or this doesn't work, or this new feature was added, or whatever. But I think that's my answer for Weedfeed. Compliance against Meta is kind of like, if you're doing it consistently, you're gonna realize changes and patterns, and you're just gonna pick up on it. And if you have any questions, you could always just DM me specifically about the algorithm, and I'm happy to share information as it's needed. But I also have an agency, and so I do social media for brands, and brands have a whole other level of compliance, because state by state there's rules about what you can and cannot post if you have a licensed cannabis company. And for that, they don't work for me full time because it's not needed, but I have like essentially a lawyer that is their job to know how states' regulations are changing as it pertains to advertising, and telling me so I don't look like an idiot pitching a brand and be like, let's do this whole cool campaign, and they're like, that's illegal, idiot. Why would I give you my money? Yeah.
Hey, can I get that lawyer's number though?
I know.
Yeah,
well, that
sure.
adds a lot of clarity, right? Because it can be a really tough thing to navigate. Like, a lot of us are just kind of going in blind. And as you guys know, like, you spend a lot of time. You said that you posted every single day for how long?
For a good 7 to 8 years, one photo a day, every fucking day.
Right. So
And it
to put
works.
in that
How
kind
long?
of work.
7, 8 years?
7,
Yeah.
8 years.
That's respectful.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing that, then and there's probably not really a lot of like.
Yeah, for me, I didn't know any of the laws, rules, and Instagram has changed over time. Now they're a lot more strict, like you said, with like the words, and they're cracking down on things. But for me, I'm really just like I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I'm in the internet world because I'm very tapped out of it too. You know, I'm 35 now, girl, bitch is growing. I don't have time to sit there on Instagram all day.
That's not grown.
What I do, I just talk to my friends. I just ask my friends questions when it comes to, oh shit, do you think I'm gonna get flagged if I post this? Like, I just know what the trends are. I'd be on TikTok. I pay attention to people's pages. I do my research. So that's all I know because I don't know the other things that you mentioned. But
she said 35. She's the youngest one on this stage, by the way.
You know. Yeah, I don't want to. Actually, I don't know. I'm not even old, girl. I'm good. I don't want. You know, we just did a podcast interview with somebody, and they're like, "Let's just not use the word old." I'm like, "You're right." I'm like, I'm getting older, but I'm not old at all.
I decided after I turned 40 that I'm not going to talk about my age anymore because it's a mindset.
Look good
and I want to look good. Yeah. And part of looking good is feeling good.
There we go. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Because it shines from the inside, too. You know what I mean? You could be like the most attractive person and be ugly on the inside, and it's like,
And vice versa.
Nah, exactly.
Vice versa.
Luckily for me, I have both.
We will be doing a question and answer period at the end if you guys do have any questions. I can't believe I didn't ask you this. I'm so sorry. Will you guys shout out your Instagram handles and every way that people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, my Instagram is Madzilla. You got to type it all in because I am shadow banned. And then I do have the podcast. If you guys want to follow that, the link is in my bio. It's called the Playroom Podcast Official. And everything else, YouTube, TikTok, is Killa Madzilla because somebody stole my name before I got a hold of it. So.
And talk to us about your podcast. What do you cover?
So the podcast is kind of like this is actually my co-host right here with the orange hair. Say, hey, Jules.
Hey, Jules.
Hey, Jules.
So it's kind of like Joe Rogan style. It's all topics, all different walks of life. And we didn't want to leave anything out, but since it's two women, we can kind of ask like a little spicy questions, little relationship things. We get a little, we just keep it super unhinged, raw, real, and it's been super fun.
Is it mostly cannabis, or is cannabis just a piece?
Cannabis is, because a lot of people I've been interviewing is really my personal friends, and 90% of them smoke weed. So we smoke on there. We talk a little bit about cannabis here and there, but it's more so just like the lifestyle of it. You know what I mean? Like, can we smoke? It's like, yeah, we can smoke. We do whatever the fuck we want on the Playroom Podcast, okay?
I love it. And what about you?
My account's called Weedfeed, so check it out. And
give it a follow.
My agency is called Dumpling House Media, and so if you're looking for an agency that is creative, check us out at dumplinghousemedia.com.
Also, if you guys aren't following Weedfeed, I guarantee once you do follow Weedfeed, you're going to recognize a bunch on there.
Thank you.
It's so popular.
Thank
You're
you.
popular, Ben.
I'm so embarrassed.
Weedfeed is super tight, by the way. I
Weedfeed
didn't even know that
dope.
was like you. That was Weedfeed. You're the man
until
behind
right now?
Weedfeed. I didn't know, bro. I really didn't know.
Weedfeed is
But
the
I
shit.
love that.
Please
and then
give it a
Dumpling
follow.
House, you said, is just a marketing for weed brands, or is it for like other brands or whatever?
It started as not weed brands, but just like brands that were down to have fun in marketing, because
Okay.
I can't do serious. So when people are like, oh, we can't post a funny thing, I'm like, oh, we can't really work together, because
I love that.
I
He's like,
feel
no,
like-
you
yeah.
got to make me laugh.
I feel like brands and like communications of brands to customers and just marketing in general, like you have to make people feel something, and there are a few options out there. Like you could make people feel something by showing sexy people, so you make them feel horny, or you can make them feel something by giving them a lot of information, and you make them feel smarter and empowered to go out and have conversations and impress your friends. You could make them feel scared. You could make them feel emotional because your content evokes a sad feeling. I chose to make people laugh. I wanna catch people's attention, and I wanna make them be like, "What the fuck?" And then I wanna make them laugh. And so, at Dumpling House, we help brands with their content, with their strategies, with their ads, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna evoke emotion of, "What the hell? That's awesome. I feel something good from this brand, and I want to know more."
Can I ask you a question? How'd you get the name Dumpling House? How did that whole thing come about? Because I was like, do they got dumplings too? Because this is making me hungry. But I love the logo
always
and
have
everything.
dumplings in the freezer.
Yeah, what is how did that come about?
Well, I mean, for one, it started because I really fucking love dumplings a lot.
Okay,
Like,
there we
it's my
go.
preferred munchy food. I love soup dumplings, especially because we all get a little cotton mouth, and so you just get like a nice little burst. And dumplings are bite-sized, and they're full of content, and we like to make bite-sized content
Yo,
at Dumpling
these are-
House. And when I was kind of workshopping the name and just like asking friends or like asking people in my office building, I had a couple of ideas. All of them food related because I just fucking love food as much as I love weed. And like depending on who I was asking, they're like Dumpling House, like I didn't know you were Jamaican, or like Dumpling House, I didn't know you're Chinese, or dumpling, like depending on their culture, they were like, that's my culture's food. And I love that because it's all so personal to us, but it's also shared, you know, and we all have our differences, but we're all the same. So it just made me feel all the types of good. And so that's why Dumpling House.
That's
I
very
love that.
interesting. I love the logo too, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate
Definitely
that.
check it out.
Dumpling
Thank
House
you.
Media. Check it out.
Thank you.
And again, don't forget to follow Weedfeed.
Oh, wait, can I ask you one more question? How many brands like are under Dumpling House?
Dumpling House?
I'm doing the interview now. I'm just
Girl,
curious.
you go for it.
We have a bunch of different meme pages. So right now there's like 11 different pages that we have. And like we're also trying to evolve. Like we have meme pages, we have food pages, we have cannabis pages in Weedfeed. I like the niches. I think that like everyone talks about community in cannabis, or like brands in general or just talk about community. It feels like a buzzword a little bit. And so I like to niche down and talk to people in specific niches and build communities in the niches. I think it's easier to do. And so I like to have all these different accounts and these different brands that speak to kind of different communities, all of which I feel a part of. Because it's just easier to get cozy with people that you love when you have more shared experiences.
I love that. I can literally have a whole conversation in memes. Do you guys
Yeah.
fuck with memes or no? Like when you respond to your friends, are y'all big on the memes? Bro, my meme game is so fucking strong. I swear to God, I have a whole combo of memes. So you got to send me those pages too.
Hell yeah, come through.
I love the memes.
I love that. That kind of leads me into my next question for you guys. How do you optimize your SEO? I know there's a lot that does
I
get
don't even
kind
know
of
what that means. Sorry.
search engine optimization.
Oh.
So how do you kind of publicize yourself, or like how are you your own PR when it comes to like the web? Because you've obviously done such a great job at collecting followers and speaking to people, just kind of like what you said. Everyone has a niche or everyone has a passion. You guys have been speaking to the crowds in very different ways. Between the two of you, you have millions and millions of followers. How do you optimize that SEO? And what would be like your number one recommendation to a brand, particularly like a cannabis brand, to optimize
I would say you
that
got to
SEO?
be out in the motherfucking field, like being at this event, networking. I literally went out I used to do a bunch of photo shoots a day. I was out at all the parties. Someone would say, oh, come pull up. Oh, come to this, you know, whatever brand it was, whatever events. I was showing up. I'm the yes friend. Hey, you want to go do this? You want to go out of town? Pick me. I will go. So I would just say you got to just network. You got to spend that time like outside, you know, like communicating with people, like shaking hands and not be nervous to go up and say hi to somebody that you want to work with. So that's what I've had to do. It's all been kind of organic for me, luckily. You know, I've never like paid for followers. I've never had to go through some things that other brands might have to. I just, you know, I was just outside for a long time.
She was out there.
Now we inside and we still popping though. We outside, but we inside.
I think my answer is the same. I mean, the same, but the digital version. Because
there you go.
I escape into the internet. I'm a fake extrovert. I'm really kind of introverted. Your answer was get out there, come to events like these, and I also agree with that. I'm so fucking happy to be here. This is like the best day of my life. I love
Yeah, shout out
Hall of
Flowers.
Flowers. They absolutely kill it, and they're just a representation of what this industry could be in terms of, you know, being polished, being perfect. So my answer to that is, in addition to being out there in the world at events, it's just like putting out a lot of content, you know? SEO, brands do SEO, search engine optimization, because they don't want to waste any content on shit that's not going to get them an immediate return. So they're like, what's the word I need to put in an article so that way when someone searches that word, they get it. And that's obviously important and it's smart and you want to check all the boxes as a marketer. But I guess the secret to Weedfeed success, at least, and it sounds like you too, Madzilla, is just putting out a piece of original content every single day.
There you go.
And
That's the key.
Authenticity.
that's literally
And
the
then
only strategy
also when
I
you're
did.
posting, like, you know how you could click the little arrow and like send it personally to like all your friends? Do that more often, bro. You'll be surprised how
Yes.
much your friends actually support you.
Yes.
And it's like, dang, like you can't just expect like, you know, now that the way the algorithm works, most of your followers aren't even seeing your posts anyways, or it might
100%.
be a week later, weeks later. So hit that little arrow and send it out to everyone. You know what I mean?
100%.
Create your hashtag, like slide in the DMs to people, whoever you want to work with, whatever it is, slide in the DMs. I used to have like literally, I know it sounds corny, but a copy and paste note in my notes on my phone for brands that I wanted to work with, so I didn't have to sit there and type it out again.
Hell yeah.
Smart stoner.
Not corny, smart.
So yeah, I would just send that out like constantly, and I still do that to this day. So I feel like you gotta just push, keep pushing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. And even like, you know, you guys are both basically saying, I'm asking about SEO, and both of your recommendations are like, be out there, right? Put yourself out there, get involved.
Don't panic,
and,
it's organic.
yeah, and like get involved. And like you said, Ben, you know, the word community is tossed around a lot, but at the same time, and so is culture. But at the same time, this exact panel is about cannabis community and culture with social media. And that's how we met. You and I met organically. I didn't know that you had Weedfeed. We've been friends for a lot of years now. We met at an event at Green Street. Excuse me, Green Street. We've been homies ever since. And I have the pleasure of meeting you today, but it's all kind of organic through Hall of Flowers. Again, shout out Hall of Flowers. Thank y'all for being here.
Shout out to the weed too. Shout out Cannabis. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, shout out the weed.
Yo, I don't
guys.
know what I would do without weed. I swear, it makes me such a nicer person.
Well, we've covered a lot when it comes to like Instagram and social media and all of that, because that's your forte, and your forte, you guys crush it. We'll open up a question and answer period in just a minute, but I want to ask you, what's your favorite strain and what are you smoking on these days?
You have an answer?
Oh, smoking on that KK. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Wiz is the homie. I'm about to go over there and no, that KK is
Oh, the
strong as fuck.
Khalifa
Have you guys
Kush.
tried that Khalifa Kush? Oh my God, y'all want to hear a fucking fucked up story about that? I'll tell them one time, just
Let's
because.
go.
Since
Let's
we're
go.
here, why not? So one time I was in Canada for a month, fucking partying, drunk, hungover, probably dehydrated as hell. Came back, went straight to the club. Ratchet, I know. Wiz was there on stage, and you know I've known Wiz for a long time. The first music video I ever did was like French Inhale back in the day. But yeah, he's like, hey, you want to hit this? And I was like, sure. It was the first time I hit the Khalifa Kush. When I tell you, I blacked out. I fainted on the stage. I was literally telling my friend, I was like, get me some juice. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I got sweaty. I got hot, and I was like, yo, is this the fucking weed? What's in here? But now it took me many years. I was like, no, I'm not hitting that shit again, bro. I was like, hell no. But now I hit it one time, I'm good. I used to smoke a lot. Now I don't even smoke that much anymore, to be honest.
I knocked myself out one time too.
Weed is strong
with
now.
edibles. With edibles.
Shit.
I went to the bathroom. I woke up in the middle of the night, so high on edibles, went to the bathroom, came back into my room, tripped, fell, woke up the next day. It was
Good
great.
times, good
It
times.
was great. Also, one time I went deaf when I was smoking. That was real fun.
He's like,
What's
what
your
the hell?
favorite strain? What are you smoking on, Ben?
I like green crack. That's my favorite strain. It's an older strain. It's the Adderall of weed for me. It's when I have shit to do. A little green crack gets me there.
Are you a little
Sativa?
sativa diva?
It might be. Yeah, I think I am.
Sativa diva.
I also just like anything with like those citrusy terpenes. If we're just talking about flavor, it's hard to track what strain makes me feel a type of way. It depends what happened the day before.
It's like, this is the only crack I'm smoking.
Yes,
Green crack.
the green crack.
What terpenes do you prefer? Like a little limonene?
I like
a little
limonene.
beta?
Yeah, I
What do you
like
what
when
do
it
you like?
tastes orangey, citrusy.
Yeah, there you
just
go.
like, I don't know, it just puts me in a good mood for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, well, our time is almost up, but I would love to open it up if anyone has any questions for Madzilla, myself, or Ben.
Ask away. Any questions? Don't be shy. I know you. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, nobody has any questions. so
Lincoln has a
we're-
question. Hi, Lincoln.
Oh, let's go, Lincoln. Woo!
Yes.
I
Yes.
think that a brand should do what it could do at the time that it's at. Making content could sometimes be costly if you're not good at it yourself or if it takes you too much time. But I personally believe that, yes, the more the merrier. yes, with every post comes a risk, but with every post comes an opportunity to go viral for the right person to see it. And just like sales, you know, they'll say you knock on 10 doors, you get one sale. You knock on 100 doors, you get one sale. My theory is you post 100 pieces of content and one will go viral. And so my strategy has always been the more the merrier. Obviously, quality over quantity, so find that balance. But that's my answer, Lincoln.
Can I add to that too?
Of course.
Okay, so I would say, I was just talking about that earlier. I used to post once a day, but also what I'll do, sometimes I'll post on my page just to have something for people to engage with, and then maybe a week later I'll archive it. If I want to clean it up and have it, you know, a certain aesthetic. But the more you post, the better, and definitely the stories. I think the stories is where it's like it's a little bit more personal because I keep my page has one aesthetic. On the stories, it's lit though, so make sure you tune in.
Yeah, it keeps the engagement going, right?
Yeah, but you know, some people just aren't really into, like, some people are like just more reserved. Like, oh, I don't want to post on my story, or I don't want to do. It's like, no, do it. It's okay. You know?
I couldn't agree more on stories. Like, going back to the community conversation, I almost feel like this like weird thing happened with Instagram where like the feed is where your message lives, it's where your statement goes, it's where the work goes, and the stories are actually where the community happens. Sure. You know, the stories, the behind the scenes, the stories where they see the person behind the content. The stories are where you're not trying so hard, so the real person's voice comes out versus like some super polished chat GPT version. And it's where people get to see kind of the inner core of the brand. And nowadays, just the culture of psychology, people want to feel connected to brands in the way that they feel connected to people. And the stories is where you can allow yourself to be a little bit more human. So I definitely recommend brands and businesses utilizing that.
Yeah, I personally won't follow a weed page if it's just literally just the logo over and over again and that's it. Like, oh, this is my brand. I'm not gonna follow the page if there's not something that's like entertaining. There's not enough to look at. I'm like, why? You don't post on the story. I'm not gonna follow it. So that's, you know, post more shit.
We have one last question, and then our time is almost up. The question, just so that you guys can hear what the question was asked, is how important is it for you to collaborate with other brands? Should you charge, and what does that look like if you do?
I'll start with that. For me personally, well, I actually am just a cannabis model. I don't have my own brand yet, but yet. But I've done a lot of collabs for free. Like, I literally have been out here like, fuck it. If I fuck with you and your brand, let's work. I'm not going to sit here and charge you like an arm and a leg all the time. But there's other, you know, it just depends on the situation. It depends on how established the brand is, too. Because if I know you got big bucks, then you're going to have to pay a little something. You know what I mean? If we're setting up like some big shoot. But I would say just collaborate a lot more. I could say that from my end. I don't know, you know, as far as the weed brands. But
I was going to say that's a great question because especially from both of your perspectives, you guys are very different. Like, you're a marketing and media company and you're your own brand. So it's going to be a very different answer, I would assume, between the two of you.
And I'll say one more thing. Sometimes I might do like one collab, like, yeah, let's work together. Let me show you what I can do on my end, show you that I'm a real human being, that I actually give a fuck, that I'm dope. And then later, if you want to set up another shoot from there, then we'll talk about, you know, prices or whatever it is. But even then, I'm still in the cannabis community. It's like, I'm not gonna sit here and charge you a fucking arm and leg just because, you know. And that's why I feel like a lot of people have fucked with me over the years because they see that I'm like not a piece of shit.
For sure. And Ben, I'd love to get your
Only
perspective,
sometimes.
and then we're gonna do a little outro because we are about to do the smoke out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, don't be a piece of shit is my answer.
Don't be a
also.
piece of shit, okay?
Yeah,
collaborate.
that's the motto of the day. Don't be a piece of
He's
shit.
like, that was my answer.
You follow your gut. If the person that reached out that wants to collab doesn't seem like a piece of shit and they align with your brand and you want your brand to be next to theirs, then collaborate with them. Do all the things, you know. But I mean, there's advice when you have a big following, and then there's advice when you're just starting out. And the advice when you're just following out is throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And have a group of people that are going to be down to just like shamelessly repost you to trick the algorithm that people give a shit about what you're posting about. And so
Does that mean you're going to accept my collab today?
yeah, I'll accept your collab, sure. It's just $1,000. No,
Thought it was 420.
but when I started, like back in the day, like my pages, I was in a group chat with like 8 other friends who were also starting pages, and every time someone posted something, they would put it in the group chat, and we would all like it, comment, save it. Saves and shares are the main thing, you know? So like save and share, save it. Like when I see my friends post, I'm on autopilot save. Like I just save anything that I want to go back to later. I save and add to folder. My unfolder stuff is just supporting my friends.
Yeah, guys,
What a
lift
nice
up your
guy.
community.
Clap
Lift
it up for supporting your friends.
Yeah,
friends
for
one
real.
time. What a
Lift
nice
up
guy.
your community.
Yeah, support
if
your
you see
friends,
somebody
yo.
doing dope shit, go repost it.
I think,
go
like-
throw a comment. Go
Like my
throw a
shit, buy
like.
my shit.
There's you know, we do really well supporting each other in cannabis. None of us would be here, especially at Hall of Flowers.
That's the
definitely
thing.
not sitting on this stage if it wasn't for friendships and community and like hookups and whatnot. But like, go support your friends. You see your friend doing dope shit, like go
if I
repost
could
some
add
dope
to
shit.
that, like don't just support your friends, support everyone in cannabis.
Yes.
Like there's no
If they're
such
not a piece of shit.
right. Sure, if they're not a piece of shit,
Just
of
gotta
course.
add that in there.
That's
Because
the
some motherfuckers be tripping.
that's the asterisk to everything. But I think that there's this trade show. There's Hall of Flowers, but like this is very fucking new. There aren't a million trade shows like this. This industry is brand new. There's not many massive corporations involved, and there is no competition at this point. I don't own a weed brand, and so I'm just looking at it on the outside in, and I just see, I see people report each other, or I see people like do sketchy shit from brand to brand because it's like, oh, this is business. That means they're my competitors. So fuck them. Like, not fuck them. This industry is so small, and when the big dogs come in, everyone's gonna be like, oh, we should work together. And it's like, you already fucking got my page banned 3 times. Now you want to be friends? So don't like. We're all gonna have to join as one to fight Procter and Gamble one day, you know?
Well, and there's enough for us all to eat. So, like, let's work
Exactly.
together and
So-
stop,
Everybody
like,
eats.
taking each other down. There's enough for us all to eat.
Okay.
Guys, we're way over our time, so I'm going to wrap it up real quick. Thank you for coming to our talk on culture,
Thank you,
cannabis,
guys.
community, and social media. Shout out Madzilla. Please give her a follow
Let's go.
at Madzilla on
Zilla gang,
Instagram.
MILF gang.
Please give Ben and Weedfeed a follow at Weedfeed. He's got some dope shit.
Thank you all.
My Instagram is Marissa Twitch. Also,
Woo!
please give Women of Cannabis _420 a follow, and shout out my co-founders right here.
And give it up for your guys' selves. Come on, we about to get high.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this Khalifa Kush. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Let's go.
guys! As soon as we leave here, head right across, right behind
Khalifa
you.
Kush.
We're about to go
I'm
break
scared.
the world
I'm scared.
record for the most joints lit. Let's go
Oh,
get
is it- is
fucking
that what's
high.
happening?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Ooh.
Let's go.
All right, let's go, y'all.